Hey, story fans, it's your old pal, the Writing Ref. I don't hate, I just officiate your favorite trailers. And if you can't tell from my AI slot background, we're going to be breaking down the Masters of the Universe trailer right now.
I'm as human as anyone. I get scared. I wake up every morning and despite not knowing what to do, I put one foot in front of the other and I try to make the best choices I can.
I haven't covered a trailer on this channel in quite some time. Normally, trailers, especially teaser trailers, don't give you much story to kind of speculate on. But since I am such a Masters of the Universe aficionado and owned all the toys, I owned the Castle Grayskull, I had Snake Mountain, I had just about everything for a while the first year that it came out. And I was very fortunate to be a brat, and but you know, Santa brought me several of them, and I was a good boy. Not really, but I had was very fortunate to have a large Masters of the Universe collection, and I still have some, and these all make an appearance now. They're on my desk at work. But I went through the Masters of the Universe trailer, and I realized that it was following the classic version of the hero's journey in this story. So let's talk a little bit about it. But first, really, Masters of the Universe back in the day was an everyday serialized episode with lots of short stories. There wasn't really the continuation thread or soap opera type thread back in those days with those types of cartoons, as you would find in a lot of the modern stories or modern cartoons. But there were two aspects to the early Masters of the Universe, the earliest Masters of the Universe, if you know, was a series of comic books about that. But there were two aspects, and Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelations hit on both of them, that were kind of deeper storytelling that kids at that time were not used to. And one of them, which was really interesting, is that this movie that's coming out this summer seems to rely heavily on, is that Queen Marlena, the Queen of Eternia, is in fact a Earthling. And where that comes from is originally, here's Queen Marlena, her name is Glenn, after John Glenn. So that's why when we get to the trailer in a second, you'll see that Adam's name is Adam Glenn. But there she is in the original cartoon. This is episode 6 of the series. She was flying through an asteroid storm and gets knocked off course and has to end up crash landing. And there she goes, crash landing on Eternia. Now, in the movie and in more recent lore, Eternia is like at the center of the entire universe. Masters of the Universe Revelations and its follow-on series really harped on that. Look at she's got a virtual reality headset on that doesn't need to cover her eyes, but it's showing her memories. You know, some of the technologies that in the 80s were hard to envision is really science fiction and fantasy. They would come out with much later, but we're not far away. We're a long way away from projecting our memories out as a TV screen. But virtual reality, wearing something on your head to watch it, that's very close. So there's Mom telling about her real origin story to her son. So her son, at this point, knows he's from Earth. And the trailer, and in the trailer, you know, we have this beautiful look at Eternia to get you excited. But Adam lives on Earth. And I really like that they've taken the lore of Queen Marlena being an Earthling. And she looks great in this. And that she's sent her son to Earth. That is a great story point, using old school He-Man lore from the 6th episode of the series. Episode 6 established this, and it barely touched on it the rest of the series. I think there's like 2 other episodes in total where Earth is mentioned, and He-Man almost goes to Earth one time in the original series. He saves it at one point from an asteroid crashing into Earth, and then immediately warps back. And in that episode, it is He-Man goes through like some kind of wormhole. There's portals in the original He-Man series all the time, just like this portal here, but they don't even need a ship with it. The sorceress kind of can make these portals, and they can go to different worlds. In fact, that's how He-Man and She-Ra meet. So He-Man, the term portal fantasy in the literary and the world is kind of a recent thing that's come up because it's been such a trope. But the Masters of the Universe series was one of the early pioneers of portal fantasy, where you would portal to different realities. And it's a very literal take on leaving your normal world. So what they're doing here is establishing an everyman character who everyone can relate to, has a ho-hum job. I guess they're figuring a lot of people in their 40s like me have ho-hum jobs and would like to go leave the normal world, as we do in the hero's journey, and go to the fantasy world. And there we have a comic book store. If you're a frequenter of comic book stores, you've seen a lot of these mannequins that they have. They have Superman. That one looks like an early version of He-Man, and he's got a real sword stuck into his hand that apparently cannot be removed very easily. That's a very Arthurian legend, sword in the stone trope. It's played for laughs there, but I really like that because what this trailer is telling you, hey, we're going to do mythology, and we're going to do mythology the classic way, the Joseph Campbellian way. That gets me really excited because that's Star Wars. That's the stuff that resonates with people. Some people are very confrontational. I wouldn't say confrontational, but about, they want to be different. They want to stray from the hero's journey trope. In fact, a lot of folks want to have a female's journey that's different from the male hero's journey, and call it some unnecessary controversies. That just looks great. I mean, what is better than He-Man versus Skeletor? Than perhaps only matched by Optimus Prime and Megatron, which we've gotten recently. In this same episode, though, of Teela's Quest, episode 6, chronologically, not in release order. They release these things all over the place. I'd be interested if anyone knows in the comments the original air date for Teela's Quest. But it also establishes that Teela has Man-at-Arms as Teela's father. I don't remember who this wizard is. I don't know if that's King Grayskull, but there he is. Man-at-Arms being Teela's father, and guess who her mother is? There's rumors that King Grayskull is going to appear in the new movie. But the sorceress, who can only leave Castle Grayskull is an eagle, and we see her in an eagle as in the start of the trailer. So there she is as an eagle. The sorceress is Teela's mother. You can see her again. There she is. Lorena Baccarin is going to play the sorceress, and they don't really show her in this trailer, which is disappointing, except from a distance. But that's a great choice to play sorceress. A lot of redheads in the He-Man world. He looks very Anakin right there, doesn't he? Does that? So something they can add very easily to this mythos is the sorceress being the mother of Teela and going down that route. That's probably something to save for a sequel. They may hint at it in this one. But something else you can do is if Adam was sent to Earth, you wonder if Adora was also sent to Earth. Are they going to do that if they get a chance for a sequel? If this movie does well, I'm sure they will. But what if Adora wasn't sent to Earth? What if she was captured in that initial attack first by Hordak? That's probably what happened. She's probably not on Earth. So that'll be they can do all kinds of interesting things. Not that they've set this up that, maybe they even show it in this movie that, hey, one sibling got away to Earth and the other one didn't. And Hordak had come from both. Maybe it's not Skeletor in that opening. I think a lot of people haven't even thought about this, that maybe it's not Skeletor in that opening attack that maybe Skeletor, maybe they managed to fight off Hordak later, or maybe Hordak only left because he was able to take one of the children instead of both of them. But that would also indicate that there's more than one sword. So very curious. I hope this becomes a franchise in the series, and I'm sure they were hoping for a franchise here too. But it looks great. So that's a trailer review. I kind of wish they don't do Skeletor's voice at all. That's gonna be very important. You'd hope they had gone with someone like Mark Hamill, but they went with Jared Leto. We're getting a little bit into movie business stuff that I don't normally talk about. Try to stick to the story business. But how far down the hero's journey are we going to go this time? So we have the normal man gets taken to the fantasy world. I'm sure they'll do the belly of the beast, the low moment. I have found your sword. This is curious. So this is literally the call to action. The call to action phase on the hero's journey is you start in the normal world, you have the call to action, and the hero rejects the call. So is Adam going to reject the call initially? And the call to action in this case is a text to action. I don't know about that, but it's kind of silly for them acknowledging the step-by-step hero's journey, Joseph Campbell model that they're doing here, Arthurian legend even. But he gets a text to action. And what's he going to do? Be like, who the hell are you? Don't bother me. Maybe he just got in trouble at his human resources job, and so he can't answer this text. And that's how he rejects the call. Remember, rejecting the call is sort of like Luke saying, I can't leave Tatooine. I've got to be a moisture farmer. And so is Adam going to say, I can't go find my sword, even though he's dreaming about it all the time, because my boss says that I can't worry about swords anymore. I think that is probably what's going to happen. So you'll have him reject the call to action. Adam Glenn, his mom's last name is Glenn, all based on John Glenn, the astronaut. He, him, he-man. Boy, the anti-woke people are going to jump all over that, but really it's a cute reference. And it's really, what it says to me is we shouldn't get our feathers in a rumple about this sort of thing. I'm sure there's going to be "Are you gay?" type jokes. They'd be missing out if they didn't, because there's a whole pop culture thing about that. So he obviously is going to get this sword somehow. That's after he's accepted the call to action. And then, there's scenes of Beastman and whatnot somewhere around here, where Beastman is on Earth. People are wondering, is that into the movie? Is that beginning of the movie? You saw Evil in there. I really think that you don't return to the normal world if they're doing a Joseph Campbell model here until the very end of the movie, after you're returning with the elixir. And will he return to the normal world? I don't think so. I think in this case, the hero can't go back home yet. So I think that Beastman shot is going to be towards the beginning. And Tilo will have to rescue him, and they'll run right at the last minute. There he is. There's Beastman. Witness the transformation. The penalty that I would throw on this, there is a penalty on this trailer. There is a penalty on this trailer. So I will call one. The penalty is using mundane trailer music. Go ahead and give us that. You did like a teaser for a teaser trailer. They actually did like remember the 80s? We're going to do this trailer tomorrow. Which is kind of fun that they're doing trailers for trailers. Teaser trailers that lead to bigger trailers. Marketing has gone nuts. But the teaser to the teaser used the original He-Man theme. And I noticed two notes at the end of this trailer where it goes, dun, dun, which is just the He-Man, the two notes. So maybe they're saving the music for the actual trailer. All trailers that use this blom blom percussive nonsense it needs to go. That's like mid 2000s. We need a different trailer format now. Penalty if your trailer uses that still, because it's outdated. So this trailer to me isn't a bit in an outdated format, but it's showing me the hero's journey, and I've loved breaking it down for you. But put that music in there. Everybody knows it. It'll hit a nerve, and I think they know that. Superman showed that you could do it, so do it here. Spice it up, and I've been the writing ref, and that's been the call. We'll see you next time.